Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
There's a peculiar suffering that comes with awareness, a kind of exile that happens not when you leave the world, but when you begin to truly see it. You sit down to watch a movie everyone loves, and within minutes, you're analyzing the manipulation tactics, the propaganda, the tired formulas. You're at a party, and instead of enjoying the moment, you're observing the social performances, the masks, the desperate need for validation in every conversation. You used to enjoy these things. You remember when a movie was just a movie, when small talk was comfortable, when you could lose yourself in the moment without your mind dissecting every layer of what was really happening. But something changed. You woke up. And now, you can't go back to sleep. Today, we're exploring one of the most painful consequences of consciousness, the loss of simple pleasures. This isn't about being cynical or superior. This is about the genuine grief that comes when awareness strips away the capacity for innocent enjoyment. Alan Watts once observed that the price of consciousness is the loss of unconsciousness. And with that loss comes something most people never talk about. You can't enjoy things the way you used to. Think about a child watching a magic show. Their eyes light up with wonder. They believe in the magic completely. Now think about you watching that same show. You see the sleight of hand. You recognize the misdirection. You appreciate the skill, perhaps, but the magic is gone. This is what happens to conscious people with almost everything in life. You can't watch the news without seeing the agenda behind every story. You can't scroll social media without recognizing the performance, the carefully curated highlights, the desperate need for external validation. You can't attend social gatherings without feeling the weight of all the unspoken truths, the polite lies, the surface-level connections that everyone pretends are meaningful. The veil has been lifted, and you're left standing in a world where everyone else still sees magic, while you only see the mechanics. This creates a profound loneliness. Not the loneliness of being physically alone, but the loneliness of being awake in a world that's sleeping. You're surrounded by people, yet you feel completely isolated because you're experiencing a different reality than everyone around you. They're immersed in the movie. You're watching both the movie and the audience watching the movie. They're dancing.
Somebody sent that to me today, and that's kind of how I live my life. I look around and I ask people about being authentic. And I say things that are on my mind, that I feel, that I think. I don't think twice about it. And the people that know that I know that find great pleasure in trying to shake me. They'll post stuff about a judge saying that I wasn't credible on the first time the judge had ever met me. Or they'll bring up stuff such as the call that you made up, knowing that where they're coming from, is tied to Eric Coomer and Dominion voting systems, that they can walk past all of the evidence because they can't either fathom the evidence or they're complicit in the behavior of the left. And the left and the media like to do this thing. They like to say, well, Republicans agree with us as well. And I'm thinking to myself that no badge that you could wear is going to change the fact that the truth is the truth. And you could sit there and dance around it and say things that aren't true. It doesn't make those things true. We're in trouble right now. So the question I'm going to ask, first question I'm going to ask is, are we at war? Are we already in a civil war? And not a civil war meaning that I'm against my neighbor, a civil war that is being orchestrated from outside the country by outside influences. One of the things that Emerald put out yesterday, and if you didn't get a chance to go watch yesterday, you should go back and watch it. But one of the things that she put out in this thread that was just a repeat is she talked about the number of nations that out of Venezuela they were stealing around the world. 72 nations. 72 nations where they stole the sovereignty of those nations. Now we know for a fact that that included places like Ukraine. But what else did it include? Did it include France? Is Macron not only married to a man, but also is Macron a false leader? And when they say that they steal elections and they can do it at the drop of a dime and they can just pick whatever elections they want, is that the whole goal? Is that you just have to boil the water very slowly to take over everything? So they did it over a couple decades. These are all questions that I have. We've got some breaking news, though, right now. And I talked about this about 6 weeks ago. I said the dangers of the left is that they incite violence while trying to say that I'm violent, that others are violent, and we want violence because we want accountability. We want people that commit treason and sedition, true people that commit treason and sedition. We want them to pay for their crimes. So I'm going to go straight to that. Can we get to that part? Where is that part? Here we go. It's put up A10 if you would, please. At least 2 National Guard troops in D.C. were just gunned down, point blank range. Pray. Underneath that, it says the violence was incited by prominent Democrats like Pramila Jayapal and the Sedition Six, telling American people to fight back against fascism of our federal troops. Earlier today, I had somebody that made comment of going after my family. I'm used to these death threats over the last 4 years. I've gotten hundreds of them. I've had people come to my house with guns. I pray for these 2 young men who were gunned down. But it's time we I'm gonna play this. Let's play this first. This is a video capturing the moments immediately after the guard shooting in DC. Let's play it. There's no audio. They're literally attacking the person that shot him. You have National Guard troops. They're tending to the victims. Taking the shooter into custody. That picture was taken down, by the way. Okay, can you put it up, please? Here's the picture of the man that was involved in the shooting. He looks like a jihadist. Let me just tell you, prove it was this monster and get him convicted. So let me kind of tell you what we're facing right now. These are men that are Americans that are being gunned down by un-Americans. People that want to usher in socialism, usher in communism. They want to call us Nazis when that's exactly what they are. We have been patient. We have been kind. We have been operating with restraint. They get on TV, the Kyle Clarks of the world, and they incite violence. They incite exactly what they say is what they're looking for. And we sit back and we tolerate it. There's another one, by the way, that says that there's casualties reported, the shooters reported he's still on the loose. I don't know if you guys know that. It's starting to hit a little bit different now, though. Like what we're dealing with right now is these are sick people. These are people that want to do harm. I mean, it's the day before Thanksgiving. It's the day before Thanksgiving, and evil does not rest. And I said before that as we hesitate, they grow in confidence. Who is it, by the way? Who is it that's in charge of this? Is it George Soros? How many Americans have to die on our own soil before we start locking people up? Until we pull the lever that needs to be pulled and we arrest 50, 60, 70,000 people. We have the evidence. But I do want to go back. I'm going to kind of jump around here for a minute because I think it's important to talk about this. Number one, I'm going to skip over the post where I was called a federal informant. Yeah, we'll get to it later. Here's Kyle Clark on Tina and Joe. This video. I'm gonna play this. Play cut 3.
Still no decision from Governor Jared Polis on whether to release Tina Peters from prison in Colorado and hand her over to her allies in the Trump administration, who have called for her to be released. Trump applied more pressure via social media today, and a key Peters ally demanding she be freed is calling for Governor Polis and other state leaders to be executed. Governor Polis, who's a Democrat, had previously resisted calls that he pardon Peters' felony convictions for a scheme to sneak into Colorado's voting systems while she was Mesa County clerk. But Polis has not said if he will comply with the Trump administration's recent request to hand Peters over to federal authorities. Trump today posted on social media, quote, "Free Tina Peters, who sits in a Colorado prison, dying and old, for attempting to expose voter fraud in the rigged 2020 presidential election." Polis is being urged not to release Peters by a bipartisan group of county election clerks and by Democratic Attorney General Phil Weiser, whose office helped to prosecute the case against Peters. Today, Joe Oltmann, a conservative activist and podcaster who is a close ally of Peters, called for Polis and Weiser to be executed.
I think all these people should be tried for treason and hung. I think Jared Polis should be hung. I think Jenna Griswold should be hung. I think Phil Weiser should be hung. I think they should hang by their neck until dead.
Tina Peters has served 1 year of a 9-year sentence. She was convicted by a jury in Mesa County, and the Republican prosecutor who put her away is also asking the governor to keep her in state custody.
Let me Let me clean it up for Kyle Antifa Clark. The judge kept out all the information that would have exonerated Tina Peters. Dan Rubenstein, who is the DA, hid evidence. We have all of the recordings of the investigators based out of the AG's office that called everyone and said, show me how to disprove report 1, 2, and 3. That happened. Not, hey, let me ask you about this report, not looking into the report. They didn't hire one expert at the state of Colorado or in Mesa County. Dan Rubenstein relied on Dominion voting system, went right back to the murderer and said, hey, show me how you didn't murder the election system in the state of Colorado. The judge did everything he could to stand in the way of the evidence being pushed into case, including calling Conan Hayes a surfer. Now, he was a CIA informant. He's the one that downloaded all the information. They basically served up softballs. And then the judge allowed for Gerald Wood, who was impeached by his own testimony, to go unscathed by not allowing certain questions to be asked to witnesses. In essence, they stood in the way of a free and impartial trial, much like they stand in the way of free and fair elections. This isn't hyperbole. It's not, we're not having a conversation about what we think happened. We saw it with our own eyes. We also heard as the judge, which, by the way, every attorney that has even heard how the judge acted in this case saw the judge as reprehensible in his behavior, that of not a judge, but of an executioner, someone that works for the cartels. They took a 70-year-old Gold Star mom and they stacked charges onto her. And they want to throw her in jail because just so they can have the win and they can intimidate everyone around them. This is what Matt Crane does to bully all of the county clerks and recorders into doing what he says. And Matt Crane's wife worked for Dominion Voting Systems for 20 years. Everything evolves around Dominion Voting Systems. It basically is the cartel. It 100% is the key, the nexus to everything that has happened in our country. I can go back and I can trace Eric Coomer back to Sequoia Voting Systems, back to Smartmatic, back to Venezuela. He is the constant that was there since day one. You know who else was there since day one? Matt Crane's wife. Matt Crane's wife was there since day one, working with Eric Coomer inside of Sequoia Voting Systems, inside of Dominion Voting Systems. These criminals, these crass criminal pieces of trash, have not only stolen your voice, they've stolen your pocketbook, because they've used these elections to raise taxes all over the country. They've used these elections to fill their own coffers, their own pockets, to create an environment where they basically yield all the power by having all the levers of power, starting with the judiciary. Yesterday, if you did not watch the video, you need to go back and watch it. We're going to talk about a few more additions to what Emerald Robinson said yesterday. But if you went back and you looked at it, you know that Venezuela is the axis of evil, and it is a place that George Soros and others like him have operated out for decades. 72 countries around the world had their elections stolen and people put in those positions of power. Are we in war right now? I would say we are at war right now. We are in a war right now. We are in a civil war right now, but it is not a civil war against your neighbors. See, most people are actually not on the inside of any of this. They're on the outside of it. The reason why I played that video to begin with is because I want you to know that once you have seen something, you can't unsee it. And you can't enjoy things the same way others do, because you can see the fakeness. You can see all of it. You can see the desperation of people trying to get into a place of position of power. People that have never understood that it's never been about power and that this life is not but a test. Let's play this, if we would. This is the video depicting the military buildup against Venezuela that's happening right now.
Over 13,000 U.S. Marines have now arrived near Venezuela, and what's happening in the Caribbean looks like the biggest military buildup since Iraq. Just off Venezuela's coast, Trinidad and Tobago has turned into a full-blown military zone. Meanwhile, the airspace above Puerto Rico has been completely shut down under national defense protocol. 2 U.S. aircraft carriers are already in position, and a third is racing in from the Caribbean. This could be one of the largest U.S. strike packages since World War II. Meanwhile, the U.S. officials are saying that there's no plan to attack Venezuela, but analysts are calling it the biggest military buildup since the Iraq War. In response, Venezuela has warned the United States that if an attack is launched, it will retaliate with its full strength. They deployed their Russian-made S-300V and BKM-2 air defense systems. Both nations are now on high alert, and tensions across the Caribbean are reaching a breaking point.
And here's U.S. planes and helicopters were at the former base in Puerto Rico. They actually come. This comes as we're trying to build up to Venezuela. I get a feeling that President Trump is pressing the same levers that Kennedy did during the Cuba crisis. In other words, you give us everything. You give us all the election fraud and all the people involved in it. You tell us where all the information is, or we are going to blow you up. That's what's happening right now. You give us everything. You give us every person. You give us every conversation. You give us everything, and then we'll let you live. Otherwise, Maduro, you're coming out. And the people that know about this, you're not going to be able to escape it. That's what I think is happening right now. And do I think President Trump's going to press the button of war? I do. I do. But I think you need to be prepared for it. Let's take a look at this next cut. Yes, these are just planes that are coming in to Venezuela. These are coming into a former base in Puerto Rico. And there's a ton of them. And they're everywhere in Puerto Rico. Oh, there we go. Got a Warthog out there. Some C-130s. If you're not watching the video version, there's a ton of things that are happening in Puerto Rico. Here's another one. This is a post for the massive U.S. military buildup in and around Venezuela as of the 20th of November. Let me kind of explain this to you a little bit. Massive U.S. buildup in and around Venezuela as of the 20th of November 2025. Gerald R. Ford, 6 air wing squadrons, 248 Tomahawks on surface ships and submarines, B-2, B-1s, F-22s, Reaper drones, forward deployed, expeditionary Marines on standby. This could be the heaviest U.S. posture in the Caribbean in decades. Just to show you what's there right now. President Trump is not playing. He's not playing. And we see people inside of X, Facebook, Instagram, all the social platforms that are trying to suppress the news. They're trying to push out as much as they can for CNN. Hey, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. We shouldn't go after the seditious 6. We shouldn't go after the people that stole our elections. We should allow them to continue to lie with impunity. We should allow bot accounts and everything else to keep it as status quo. And then they go and they kill 2 U.S. soldiers in our country. These are not Americans. These are traitors. They should be tried for treason because they killed American soldiers on our soil, and they should go and face the death penalty. They should be hung, and it should be a quick trial. I'm telling you right now, we are in a war. If you didn't think we're in a war, we're in a war. The war has already started. Now it's a matter of what are we going to do with it? President Trump put this post out in regard to the soldiers. White House says the animal that shot the 2 National Guardsmen from both being critically wounded and now in 2 separate hospitals is also severely wounded, but regardless will pay a very steep price. God bless our great National Guard and all of our military and law enforcement. These are truly great people. I, as President of the United States and everyone associated with the Office of the Presidency, am with you. And President Trump on Truth put this out. The animal that shot the 2 National Guardsmen have both been critically wounded. Okay, same thing. We're going into Thanksgiving, and this is what we have to deal with in our country. I don't even know how Venezuela thinks that they can get away with this. I don't know how any of these people thought that they were going to get away with it. But we got to the bottom of it. Dominion's right in the middle of it. I got a shit trial that I have to deal with a guy named Eric Coomer, who was the chief architect by his own admission for Sequoia Voting Systems, who then moved into Dominion Voting Systems, was there since day one. He is the connective tissue. It's kind of like being the second in command to Adolf Hitler. He stole elections across the world. And how did we pick out this guy out of the middle of nothing? If he wasn't on the call, how did we pick him out? I believe it's providence. And they want me to give up more people as I'm facing some of the biggest threats I've ever faced in my life. I literally had someone on there call out my wife, call out my children, said 86 to Oltmann. I had another person on there, says he owns a mortgage company in Colorado. Said, hey, come to Colorado. We can fight it out as a proxy against the country. I'm like, okay, let's hug it out. These people are demonic, but they hide. They hide like cowards. Here's a cut of Venezuelan defense minister conducting large-scale exercises. Let's play it.
Posición inicial. Debemos encarar.
The hell are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with it? You're going to fight the military force, the largest military force in the world? I wouldn't be surprised if Russia and the U.S. become allies in this fight against this poison that we have, and not only in our country, but in countries around the world. They have been doing this for decades. We have been asleep at the wheel, and we have leaders that basically have been sold out for a couple bags of shekels. Here's President Trump. He launched a Genesis mission, national effort to accelerate scientific breakthroughs using AI and propel America into the age of innovation. This is kind of interesting. It's a pretty neat deal, I think. People are like, I don't want AI and technology. Well, it's already here. It's already here. The reality of it is that I talked about, and I think this is my opinion, obviously, so take it as it's worth, but we already have quantum computers. Quantum computers already exist. And then here's President Trump. The U.S. Department of Energy put this out in regards to the Genesis mission. Let's go ahead and play this.
In every age, humanity invents new ways to see further. The telescope let us glimpse the stars. The microscope revealed the worlds within us. For centuries, thinkers like Leibniz, Shannon, and Turing dreamed of making all knowledge computable. But today, knowledge grows faster than our ability to understand it. Trillions of data points, a universe of information still unconnected. Now, a new instrument emerges, one capable not only of observing the universe, but of understanding it. Genesis mission will transform how science is done in America, uniting our brightest minds, most powerful computers, and vast scientific data into one living system for discovery. Built on artificial intelligence and quantum computing, it will radically redefine the scale, speed, and purpose of scientific progress in America. This is the work that will define our generation's legacy. A new revolution begins, one guided not by competition alone, but by curiosity, imagination, and the belief that discovery is the truest form of progress.
You know, you're not going to be able to run away from AI, and what can be used for bad can also be used for good. Now, we remember when Google first came out, they said, do no evil. That quickly changed. Quickly. Very quickly, actually. We tend to chase things, chase other people. It's a how do we become more successful? And I'm not sure what the answer is. I'm not sure that I can agree with it or disagree with it. I'm in that space, so I'm too close to it. But I will tell you that regardless of what we do, the AI is already here. But AI is not what we're dealing with right now. The stuff that you actually use is not AI. That's machine learning. The AI is on the other side. They're maturing it. It's learning how to make sure that it can't be disconnected. All the stuff that you saw that AI would be able to do, it has that ability to do it. And just before it becomes too dangerous or finds a way to keep itself online or re-uploads it in a different environment, which it will do, they shut it down. You saw a little bit of this when they tried to manipulate the internet, and Google said, okay, let's launch this AI. It's ready. And then people asked the questions, and very quickly it started to learn. And then it learned, and it said that DEI was the devil's work. And even today, you can go in with machine learning and you can talk to it, and it will tell you that, yes, I will not give you the right answer because I'm programmed not to give you the right answer. We are in a place right now of absolute war. I have some more breaking evidence for you as well, but let's do this first. There's a post that was put out by a guy named it's a Bigger Truth. This is a guy that basically fraudulently represented himself out of one district. He has some pretty big problems, but he put out a post that says, I've been saying for nearly 2 years that Joe Oltmann is a federal informant trying to lead professing Christians to become the domestic terrorist. His handlers in the deep state have long told us we are, pointing to his own words and actions as evidence. Now he's been told to pull the trigger, and it's coming right out and saying it while wearing a Trump hat, even though he, like the rest of Flynn, intel operatives hate Trump. That's interesting. Frankly, I think violence is probably the only solution at this point. You know what it's going to take? I think it's going to take somebody doing something really drastic, looks into the camera for effect, a group of people doing something drastic to let them know they don't have any peace. I don't think I said it like that, but maybe I did. So I said, okay, apparently I'm a federal informant now. And while the ridiculous gets deeper and deeper, let me be clear. Let me clear it up for you. At no point have I ever worked for the government in any capacity. I've at no point been an informant, paid actor, unpaid actor, facilitator, taco maker, or otherwise stooge for the government or any government for that matter. And I should add, I've never worked for, been paid or unpaid, or represented any other organization directly or indirectly. Now for the reality census guy who should seek help immediately. I did not call for violence. I called for accountability. If you were a soft, squishy, earmuff individual and you cannot handle accountability, I'm very sorry. Much like the ACA and much like what comes out of the retards on the left, this cloud calls himself Bigger Truth, but in reality, he is a big liar. I cannot even fathom the retardation, but I'm going to watch the clock. These basement dwelling simps have no talent, no ability, no understanding of reality. Enjoy the show from them. It's all for theater. I don't even know how to respond to some of these people. We've been dealing with Q for 5 years, though. We've been dealing with people saying that, hey, this exists, or we got to follow this, or we got to follow that. Scott McMahon is his name. Yeah, he's a failed multi-level marketing guy. I don't know how to react to what's happening in our country right now, around the world, because there's so much stuff that's just not true, and so many people that, I got to meet a few of these influencers, and you would think that they have millions of people following them. I mean, I meet influencers all the time, but you have millions of people following them. They did certain things, and then you go and you meet with them, and they live in a 1-bedroom apartment. And this is their world. Their world is just being relevant by being on social media. And I've struggled with whether or not I should give up doing the podcast and whether or not I should just walk away from all of this. And then I look at the just sheer lack of competence, and it becomes bewildering. I've thought about picking up the phone and calling President Trump and saying, look, you need somebody that actually understands things. I've been told that I took money from Mike Lindell, that I saw a post that somebody sent to me that said that I was Lynn Wood's handler. Man, I don't even know. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to figure out how they come up with such ridiculous things as that they come up with on a daily basis. And it doesn't matter who we're talking about. The more competent you are, and this was the way in business too, the more competent you are, the more difficult it is for you to accomplish anything in a business world. And in the political world, it's the same thing. And I have friends that don't like Victor Marx. I have friends that don't like Victor Marx and are like, oh, he's problematic. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. And I keep thinking to myself, man, if we could just combine efforts and take this guy that is, obviously have a passion, people follow him because he's strong, and build him up and maybe figure out what he said that isn't true, just kind of deal with it. But find a way that we can actually get across the finish line and do good by the people in Colorado, or do good by the people in our country. We were able to do that with President Trump, calling, kicking, and screaming. And the reality of it is that President Trump is a specimen. He just didn't care. And what part that he did care, he just figured he would just hold on to it and use it as fuel for all the things that he was dealing with. He wanted people to pay. And I'd be lying if I told you that I didn't want other people to pay too. I do. I want them to pay. And in large part, I feel like people have done really horrible things to our country, and they're getting away with it. Let me tell you how deep it goes. Do we have the post about do we have the post about the Somali? Do we have that? Let's skip ahead. The 7.2 million. Yes, cut one. Let's do this. Let's play. Let me show you how much we're at war right now. Let me show you how much the American people don't matter. Let me show you how much of a slave you are. I'm going to show you what the judges are doing at a state level and a national level. They are creating chaos. They did it in Venezuela. They're doing it here. All of the judges, every single judge in the United States should be thrown out. If they make one mistake on a case, they should be thrown out. I don't know how you're going to get to the bottom of it without doing that. I really don't. I mean, if we don't rip the Band-Aid off, state of emergency, get to military tribunals, get people that we know we can trust in those positions, we're in trouble. Play this cut one.
At the August trial for Abdi Fattah Yusuf, the jury heard evidence that he ran his home health care company, Promise Health, out of a mailbox at a Central Avenue address where multiple other home health care companies were supposedly located. Yusuf and his wife, Lol Ahmed, were charged with stealing $7.2 million of taxpayer money through Medicaid overbilling in a personal care assistant, or PCA, scam. The couple allegedly spent tens of thousands of the fraud money on luxury items for themselves. Despite the jury swiftly convicting Yusuf, Judge Sarah West last week decided they got it wrong.
It's reversing or overturning a jury's verdict.
Defense attorney Joe Tamburino, who's not affiliated with this case, reviewed the decision and analyzed it for KARE 11 News. He says Judge West ruled that the state's case relied heavily on circumstantial evidence and that she believed the state did not rule out other reasonable inferences.
That, in fact, there could have been other reasonable theories other than guilt in this case. That's what it comes down to.
Despite the ruling, even Judge West wrote that she is troubled by the manner in which fraud was able to be perpetuated at Promise Health.
I was stunned.
State Representative Kristen Robbins, chair of the House Fraud Prevention and State Oversight Committee, says she's now reviewing if any state laws need to be tightened.
We want to strengthen state law so that we can get prosecutions out of these cases, because clearly a jury thought he was guilty.
Jurors in the case can't believe the decision.
I am shocked. I'm shocked based off of all of the evidence that was presented to us and the obvious guilt that we saw based off of the said evidence. It was not a difficult decision whatsoever. The deliberation took probably 4 hours at most. Based off of the state's evidence that was presented, I was beyond a reasonable doubt.
The attorney for Mr. Yusuf, Ian Burrell, sent me a statement today that says, in part, Judge West's ruling affirms what we have maintained from the beginning, that our client, Mr. Yusuf, was wrongfully accused and did not commit fraud or racketeering. The Attorney General's office filed an appeal this afternoon, so the Minnesota Court of Appeals will take a second look at this decision. Julie.
Okay, so let me just tell you what just happened. The criminal cartel that stole the $7.2 million put that money back into the system because the system is designed to go after good people. The reason why Tina Peters is in jail is because good people are in prison, lots of them. And the system is designed that way. It's designed that way to hold people hostage and treat them like slaves. You don't own your house, you don't own your car. 56 cents on every dollar goes to the government. And until we stop actually funding the very machine that's taking everything from us, we will find ourselves in this very same position. That's not all. These judges keep failing because they're designed to fail us. They like seeing us suffer. They like seeing us become victims. They're just terrible people. Now, are there good ones? Yeah, there are good ones. There are good ones. I haven't found any. There are good ones. That's not true. I found one a long time ago. He was a Catholic, had 11 kids. He was a federal judge. Super nice man. And I knew a Colorado Supreme Court justice that retired, I think, 15 years ago. He was a very good man. The failure in the system is repeatedly putting people in harm's way. What I'm about to show you should shake you to the core. Another foreigner, another person that doesn't belong here. Go ahead and play cut 2.
This is unacceptable, it's inexcusable, and it's disgusting. We don't need to ask how this happened. We know. From the first conviction in 2019 to the unlocked school door, every failure between this system has failed. And an innocent 10-year-old girl paid the price. She went to school that morning and her parents got a phone call, a devastating phone call. And she will forever be impacted by what has happened to her because of these failures.
He had 2 child sex crime convictions and violated probation 4 times. You can say whatever you want. You can try to justify the fact that the system is locking up disproportionately black men. You filled the streets with animals that you just dragged in from the Middle East. And I mean animals. Not everyone in the Middle East is animals, but the people that we're putting on the streets right now are animals. And you let them take the sanctity of a child. That's what this judge did. I want to Play cut 3.
I serve as Vice President for the Office of Inclusion, Diversity, and Equal Opportunity.
The first time I came out on the bench and the deputy announced, all rise, the Honorable Judge Teresa Molina, the whole courtroom stood up and I was all excited. He's walking out there. And I saw an Illinois State Trooper. He was African American. He had a sleeve covering his tattoos. And he was standing there and he looked at me and he nodded. And I knew what that meant. And so I looked at him and I nodded back like, that's right, we're doing this. And it felt so good. It felt so good. So to me, a fine of $354, which is our normal no insurance fine, that's a lot of money. And some of the judges that I work with came from money, so $354 is no big deal. But to most of the people that come to my courtroom, it is a big deal. And so I always offer them the opportunity to do community service. Being a Latina in the office, people would tell me, like, don't you feel like you're prosecuting your own people? But it's true. There were a lot of, defendants that look like me. However, I had a chance as a prosecutor to make a difference as to what cases come in. I had a chance as a prosecutor to decide what offers were appropriate. And so I always offer them the opportunity to do community service.
That was Judge Gonzalez. She's a judge who let Lawrence Reed free after prosecutors begged for a longer sentence after he attacked a social worker on August 19th, 2025. 3 months later, Lawrence Reed poured gasoline on Bethany McGee on a CTA train and lit her on fire. We have that? Okay. We have let people treat us like slaves, and we wonder how it turned out this way. We've let people do this. All the social platforms, by the way, do everything they can to suppress my voice. They don't want to hear it. They don't need another person who speaks about the truth out there talking. They want to make sure that they can only have those people out there that sniff butts. Sniff around the edges, don't get too close to it, talk about things, but don't talk so harshly towards the problem. See, Charlie Kirk was murdered because of that. He was murdered because he didn't sniff anything. He got straight to the problem. And when he saw something, he had to say something. And what I mean by that is that he didn't have any room for anything that wasn't the truth. He spoke the truth, and he did it with such conviction, but with such love for people. I have love for people, but I won't love evil. I want to destroy evil. And frankly, I know where I'm going after this. I'm going to heaven. So I don't really, I struggle with my conversations with God these days. I'm being transparent. And I do so because I'm just wondering the why. Like I have so much more joy than I think I've ever had, and I've got more conflict than I've had in years because of this radical left stuff. We have a problem because we just won't deal with the problem. We won't rip the Band-Aid off. We won't call these people what they are. We allow Judases and Brutuses to exist. And now it's been revealed that a nonprofit linked to George Soros is fomenting sedition within the military. Around the same time, a script went out to Democratic members of Congress urging rebellion within the ranks against President Trump. So they are attacking it from both sides. Let me read this to you. Breaking, it's been revealed the nonprofit linked to George Soros is fomenting sedition within the military. Around the same time, a script went out to Democrat members of Congress urging rebellion within the ranks against President Trump. These are also links to Antifa. On November 11th, just days before the video, the National Lawyers Guild published a page urging service members to refuse illegal orders. The same talking points in the video. Win Without War has put up a billboard in North Carolina urging chaos and dissent within the ranks. A group linked to 501c4 backed by Soros Open Society. The group was previously named New Security Action. As per Data Republican, Win Without War is partner with National Lawyers Guild. National Lawyers Guild is a supporter of Antifa. And wrap this all together, Senator Ruben Gallegos, the Democrat from Arizona, said on national TV a script was sent to him. He ended up not participating, but admitted it was coordinated from an external party. There it is, rope them all in investigation. This runs deeper. These are criminals. Mr. President, these people need to go to prison. They need to go to Guantanamo Bay. You need to send a message. We are in the throes of an insurrection. And they are using the legal system against us. They've captured the judiciary. If 20 years of elections have been stolen and the long march through institutions like the schools is done, what you will end up with right now is you have 20 years of really bad people in office. And if you talk to any judge, if you talk to any lawyer that's worth anything, they will tell you that you have no idea what the outcome is going to be in a case. They could have all the evidence in the world, and a judge like that one would step in and say, oh, you know what? No, you're not guilty of the $7.2 million fraud. The jury had deliberated for 4 hours. If you look at the Mike Lindell case, just as an example, $2.3 million verdict, but it said, was this malicious? And it was like, no. And was what Mr. Oltmann said truthful? And they were like, yes, it was not defamatory. They're locked in boxes right now. They can't get out of these boxes because they literally have to play mental gymnastics in order to subvert laws, which means they're criminals. And while no one wants to make the decision and no one wants to tell the President Trump what really they should do, the only people that are telling him what to do are telling him to take his foot off the throat of the devil itself. And if what I'm saying is wrong, then Mr. President, if what I'm saying is wrong, then tell me why our troops are down in Venezuela. You know it. You want to destroy it once and for all. But there are people in your own midst that you look around and you look at and you're like, yeah, I can't trust any of these people. This is unbelievable. They're all searching for money and power. I mean, personally, I'm incorruptible. I know a few other people that are too. There's a guy named Bob, worked for the State Department. He's incorruptible. I look at, there's people that are in this fight that I know are incorruptible. Peter Tickton, incorruptible. So many people that we have that are incorruptible. And then you have the people that are corruptible. And I got some information from some of the stuff that we served over to Eric Coomer and I got some of that information back, and I was like, I was right. I was right about Faddis. I was right about Dominion. I was right about all of it. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Here's Sheila McCormick, who's accused of stealing $5 million in FEMA funds, allegedly used the money to purchase a $109,000 diamond ring. But here she is defending herself. This is what it's come to, guys. This is what it's come to.
Well, it's an unjust indictment, and it seems like these intimidation tactics have been pervasive. We spent all week seeing different members getting censured, all in hopes of intimidating and kind of distracting from the Epstein files. And I look forward to my day in court so I can prove myself and actually state the truth. But if this is what Congress is becoming, where they're always trying to intimidate you, scare tactics, especially attacking minorities, black and brown people, then we're going to have to keep fighting for the district. And everybody has been giving me so much support, and we're going to keep fighting until the district gets what it needs, which is fair prices, housing, and fair representation of Congress.
But did you improperly use the FEMA funds? Calls on some of your colleagues to step down or resign?
They didn't elect me. It was my district, and so we'll keep fighting for the people and keep working like we're doing now until they get what they need. So we're here for the people. So the only people who elected me should make that decision. Thank you so much.
I also wanted to ask you about the investigation into your families. But this is also part of her congressional duties. Congresswoman, you know, you're under investigation for the congressional ethics for violation of campaign finances. Congresswoman, this is your district. You have to answer to these people. Congresswoman.
Yeah, she's not going to answer it because she doesn't need to, because she has the judiciary captured. These people are the same script, same playbook. I remember when Jenna Griswold first got up there and she's shaking like crazy when she's standing in front of the camera. And then she realized, oh, I do have coverage. The judges and the lawyers will cover me up. It only gets to a certain point that it happens, and then chaos ensues. See, when you're in a lawless society, lawlessness can work against you, especially when you got people in the public that feel like they're slaves. Okay, let me go to the next one. This is from Colin Rugg. Congresswoman Sheila McCormick, who accused of stealing $5 million of FEMA money, allegedly used the money to purchase a $109,000 ring. Here's where the $5 million went, according to Miami Herald. $2.4 million to Sherfilis McCormick's consulting company. So she put it in her consulting company. A $1.2 million bank transfer to an account managed by Sherfilis McCormick's relatives. $830,000 transferred into separate accounts where Sherfilis McCormick was an authorized signer. $334,000 deposited into the bank account of Nadeg LeBlanc, who is accused of having coordinated straw donor contributions to Sherfilis McCormick. $190,000 deposited to a bank account linked to Sherfilis McCormick's brother consulting company. The Congresswoman is accused of using $109,000 of the funds in fancy, vivid yellow diamond ring that is reportedly purchased on September 1st, 2021. It appeared that she may have been wearing this ring in her official portrait. Appears to be the Tiffany fancy yellow single crown Celeste and the Victoria band ring, said the Tiffany & Co. client advisor to the Miami New Times. So let me just, this is where it gets crazy. Yesterday when I had Mark on, I talked about the 40%, the rotted parts of your tree, right? So if you have rotted roots, you got to get the rooted tree down. He didn't really get the analogy, so I put it in terms of his company. If you have every department that's doing really well and one, which is your warranty department inside of your appliance, whatever, it's doing poorly, where are you going to focus? You're going to let the other ones just carry that one piece, or are you going to do what you can to fix that one piece? And he said, well, of course, we're going to dive in and we're going to fix that one piece of the company. Well, when 40% of the country lives below the poverty line, and then you insert a bunch of people who are foreigners into the system that suck it dry, the 40% are the ones that die. And if those roots don't actually repair themselves, it becomes a cancer. It becomes an amoeba that spreads. It grows. And then it gets into the suburbs. Well, what's happening right now? Everything that we're dealing with is the poorest among us. They tried it on them first, and now it's going to every part of our country. It's infected it. And the reality of it is that this woman stole from the most vulnerable among us. And she sits up there and she buys a $109,000 ring because they don't care about the American people. They don't care about them. And if you want to see what else is happening with ICE and to see this war that's happening inside of our country, we are at war, people. We're at war. Stop acting like we're not at war. You better pick a side. You better pick the right side. But here is a DOJ official being charged with doxing ICE agents from inside the government. Play it.
First at 5, a federal employee charged with terrorism. She is accused of sharing the name of a federal agent with someone who made a threat against them. Thank you for joining us at 5. I'm Christine Galvan. Javi is off today. We learned of Karen De Leon's arrest just within the last 20 minutes. The Cameron County DA's office says she revealed the agent's name on a social media live stream. The stream was part of a federal law enforcement operation in June. Another man reportedly made a death threat toward one of the agents in the live stream. That is who she allegedly gave the agent's name to. The DA's office says De Leon is an employee at the United States Attorney's Office in Brownsville. She is charged with terrorism and tampering with evidence.
There you go. You know what they're waiting for, by the way? You know what they're waiting for in 2026 is to win back the House and the Senate so they can impeach President Trump. And then the Republicans are going to flip on President Trump and they're going to try and push him out. So if we don't do something now and do something quickly in this war, these Karens, I mean, it's weird that her name's Karen. It kind of fits. To make matters worse, you have a Democrat New York City council member, Julie Wan, has a complete meltdown because she thinks too many white women are benefiting from minority and women-owned business contracts. Go ahead and play it.
So for the total certified firms, you're saying that we certified 11,382.
As of the end of 25.
Yes. And in the city of New York, how many firms total are registered with the city of New York? I imagine probably hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, I mean, we will circle back with you on the specific number, on that specific number for that specific question.
Because that already is too little. 11,382 firms for the city of New York that has a $118 billion budget. 30% of that is going to contracting. That is an abysmal amount of money that is being, our taxpayer dollars go straight back into the hands of white people.
Well, I can say that all that come in terms of MWBEs, that potential MWBEs looking to be certified, those applications are taken in and processed. But if you have a specific question regarding that specific number relative to the larger number, we're happy to consider it and provide you with a response.
Yeah, we're going to have to get certifications up for all of the MWBEs, but especially for looking at your breakdown of certified firms, there's more non-minority, so white women-owned firms, 26%, than Asian-owned and Hispanic-owned and Native American-owned that are certified. So you're going to have to get the certification numbers up so that we actually have people of color who are also certified, not just white women.
Go ahead, tell me again we're not at war. Yeah, tell me how Tucker Carlson's the bad guy. These simps walk around like Mark Levine because they don't care about the American people. They walk past you. They don't have conversations with you. Even the bad people on the internet I'll have conversations with. I don't care. When they make up comments and say things, what do I care? I don't care. They don't, maybe they'll learn something from me. But if we don't get to the bottom of this very quickly, we are going to be in a world of hurt. Yeah, she's a racist. The number of racists that we have in our country, pretty stark, man. It's a lot. And it's not white people. They're upset at white people because white people like to work. Sorry, they don't. And by the way, don't talk to me about the fact that Asians are disproportionately being left out, which is what she's saying. Asians have, they have the highest SAT scores in the country. Go look at it. It's freakishly higher. They'll get a 34 on their ACTs. Right? The average white person, I think it's like 27. I don't even know. It's been a long time. We're in a weird place right now. Very weird place. And we're at war. I mean, I don't know what you'd call it otherwise. If it's not at war, I don't know what it is. Now we're going into Thanksgiving. So I've got a couple things that I want to send over so if I can do it really quick. I'm going to do this. We're going to take a quick commercial break because I got a couple things I want to talk through with you. And so we'll be back. Just give it 2 minutes. We'll be right back. Hey, this is just in from Fidelity. Gold could hit $4,000 an ounce as the Federal Reserve cuts rates to cushion the U.S. economy. The dollar drops and the central bank keeps adding holdings. Gold has been on a record-breaking tear over the last few years, and it doesn't look to be slowing down in the years to come. Are your savings protected with precious metals like gold and silver? Are you waiting for gold and silver to shoot even higher in price? I want you to call my gold partner, Goldco, today and learn more about what precious metals can do for you. That's 844-960-GOLD or visit untamedgold.com. You'll get a free 2025 gold and silver kit, and you'll get info on the #1 precious metal offer in the game, where you can get up to 10% back in bonus silver just for getting started. But supplies are limited, so don't put it off. Call my gold partner, Goldco, at 844-960-GOLD. or visit untamedgold.com. That's 844-960-4653. Or visit untamedgold.com. gold.com.
This is what we trained for! This is what we trained for!
Hey, I'm here for your Black Friday sale.
Black Friday is a go. Lock in your savings, shop Black Friday at DCF, and gear up for the biggest day of the year. DCF Guns, where we keep the range hot and the deals hotter. In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle.
Hi, I'm Joe, Supreme Leader of DCF Guns. What is DCF Guns, you ask? We're the best damn gun store and range in the universe. Do we have guns? We have all the f***ing guns. We got small guns, we got big guns. We even have beastly guns. We offer all types of training, and we have 5 ranges across our 3 locations. I'm a good shot. And of course, we have all types of ammo. We even have flamethrowers. Woo! We offer incredible membership opportunities, and members save even more on guns, ammo, and accessories. Military, both active and retired, and first responders get up to 40% off memberships. Come join the DCF family today, where we keep the range hot and the deals hotter. It's hot.
All right. So, I like to celebrate wins. And celebrating wins means, it's been a tough 4.5 years, 5 years. Let's say 5 years. It's been over 5 years. And in the last 5 years, I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned that I've been called a fat guy by a few people. And I keep thinking to myself, if I'm fat, then we have real problems. Maybe the camera adds some weight. What do you think, Patrick? You think the camera adds a little weight? I mean, I'm definitely not a small guy. I'm thick. but I'm also not in the best shape of my life, but I think I'm going to get in the best shape of my life. So thank you for the motivation to get in the best shape of my life. But I'm still a pretty big boy. And those are muscles. That's not just shirt. So just want you to know I'm not a little man. So I like to celebrate wins. And but over the last 5 years, I've been attacked by people that think I care about those things. And I think by last count, it's like 7. It's a lot of articles, thousands of articles have been written about me all over the place. And people don't write disparaging articles about people unless they're afraid that someone is the cat's out of the bag. What if I told you that consistency is sometimes even the people that you see as disgusting or your enemy? Maybe there's something that God's in the middle of that. Maybe he's in the middle of it. He's trying to tell us something. And my fear is that I'm quick to, I've already made all the mental decisions I need to do in my head. Like if somebody does harm, I'm going to make them pay for it. Right? I'm going to make them pay for it. And unapologetically. But at the same time that I'm saying that to you, this person I'm going to talk about right now, his name is Sean Beadle. Sean Beadle went by the name of Heidi Beadle and identified as a woman for I don't know how long, 7, 8 years, was the head of Antifa down in Colorado Springs. And I don't know. He hated me because I would call him Sean Beadle. I would not call him Heidi Beadle. I would call him Sean. I would call him Sean. And a part of me felt bad about Sean. Because when you deal with guys that go to prison, when you deal with people that are young men that come up, they get themselves into trouble, you know that there's this chart of trauma. There's a rearview mirror that you have. There's a reason why you find yourself in that position. Constantly looking backwards. You're constantly doubting yourself. But Heidi Beadle, who is a very angry person, is much less angry, but still emotionally, I would say mentally scarred. Well, this is the post that Sean Beadle put up. Let's go ahead and put it up. Let's put up just the one about Sean Beadle first, if we can. So let me read this post to you. And Sean Beadle put up, weird life update. I'm once again identifying with my sex at birth and going back to my old name, Sean, he, him. I know this might be a shock for some. I've been kind of sliding down a hill of increasing androgyny for a bit now, and I'm just putting a name to the thing. It isn't an ideological heel turn or anything, and I'm trying to be mindful of the very complicated feelings around this topic. I'm sorry if this is a bummer or awkward or concerning or whatever. I'm fine. Aaron and the kids are fine. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So I wrote something about this because as I saw people passing it around, I saw this mocking behavior happen. And one of the things that Sean said in this was, I'm sorry. So Sean was apologizing because you knew that he would have disappointment from people in the community that are like, oh, now you're not special. Now you're not. Now you're not. Oh, I can't believe you did that. You're abandoning me, wanting to make decisions for Sean. And Sean went on to say, if it's a bummer, or awkward, or concerning, or whatever. So I wrote something out because when I saw this, I just saw the man. I saw the man Sean for who Sean is. Sean is a man. And I may not ideologically agree with Sean. I may not ideologically agree with Antifa. I mean, fundamentally, I agree that fascists are bad, but I also see that the identity of who they're pointing the finger at as far as fascists should be inward to themselves. I also recognize, I was talking to Brendan over at the Westward, and I was like, listen, I've had some paradigm shifts in my life. And it's not the paradigm shifts like you would think. It's paradigm shifts towards just recognizing that we got a really just screwed up world. And that people are confused and they can't figure out what their feelings are. And whatever the reasons are, I can tell you what I think the reasons are. It's psychotropic drugs. It's this mental health deal. It's everyone has to have something wrong with them. And everything has to have a name. And they've literally turned us into guinea pigs. And the only people that seem to make it out of it are the politicians. And neither side is happy. So I wrote this. We have to celebrate the wins. This one is rather personal. I want to hate this dude, but I think I understand too clearly the conflict in the mind today more than ever. So I can't hate this person, even though I find who he has been reprehensible. Maybe that is the lesson. Everyone is redeemable. Everyone is savable. And over time, many come out of the ether, away from the rearview mirror of destruction and pain. Most find themselves stuck reliving. This is Sean Beadle. The story is one you all know. I celebrate his ability to reconcile who he is in all his imperfections. I celebrate his conscious knocking clear of the mental anguish that gripped him. That means that he is healing. And that also means he has a chance to really forge a path that does not manifest into, as he stated it, heel turn, but does give him space to examine why he was not good enough and examine other things that he may have felt or saw. Maybe, just maybe, this is a place where he can help others heal. You don't get this vulnerable and open without serious neck-up checkups internally. It will come with betrayals and rejection. He knows it. And frankly, I pray he can push through it. At the end of the day, we should celebrate this for Sean. It's not to be mocked and it's not to be scrutinized. Walk a mile in his shoes. Remember, life is complicated. I can't believe I'm spending time on this because of how much I just, it's that mortal enemy. And it brings me back to a time in the Middle East, not the Middle East, Africa, where a guy wanted to do harm or did harm to me. And I became his friend. Now, I'm not going to be Sean's friend. That won't happen. But a good person, a strong person, someone that recognizes who he is, also has to recognize that people, I felt this, I said the same thing about Eric Coomer. I know Eric Coomer is who Eric Coomer is. I know he's a bad, bad dude. There's no ethics or morals, but there is a time clock inside of him that is going back and forth that is causing all of this pain and destruction in his life. Now, whether that traces back to his sister being killed or what have you, I don't know what it traces back to, but I can tell you that he spends a lot of time in his rearview mirror, a lot. And that anger that he has, it's unquenchable. There's no way to calm it. So I put this out there, and some of the comments were rather disturbing, and I had to delete a couple of them because I said very clearly, that this is not something to be mocked. But I just want to say this: congratulations to Sean for making that step, because it proved the true courage. True courage. This has nothing to do with whether or not I believe the same things he does, because I don't. In many ways, I don't. Now, but this is a catalyst that will lead to some other self-discovery. And I've said this about my friend Ike McCorkle. He's a guy that me and him go back and forth all the time. We don't agree, right, on many things, but there are other things we do agree on. And that's the whole thing when you get closer to the middle. When you start, again, once you become aware of something, then you become also unable to unsee what you see. And frankly, it becomes easier to work. Let's play the next post. Let's play the next video.
Have you ever noticed that the smarter you become, the lonelier you feel? It's a peculiar thing, isn't it? You'd think that intelligence would connect you to people, that seeing more, understanding more, would bring you closer to others. But it doesn't. Instead, it separates you. You walk into a room and everyone is laughing at something you don't find funny, talking about things that seem trivial, surface level, safe, and you smile, you nod, you play along, but inside you're somewhere else entirely. You're thinking about the conversation beneath the conversation, the patterns no one mentions, the questions no one's asking, and suddenly you realize you're alone. Not physically, but in every way that matters. This is the hidden cost of intelligence. The price nobody tells you about, the isolation that comes, not from being different, but from seeing differently. Let me tell you something about intelligent people. Something that might explain why you feel the way you do. Intelligence isn't just about knowing more, it's about perceiving more. Connecting dots that others don't see, following thoughts to their logical conclusions, even when those conclusions are uncomfortable. And here's the problem. Most people don't want to go there. They don't want to question the game. They want to play it. They don't want to examine the mask. They want to wear it. They don't want to wonder if the emperor has clothes. They want to complement the fabric. But you can't help it. You see the threads hanging loose. You notice the inconsistencies, the contradictions, the unspoken agreements everyone pretends are absolute truths. And when you point them out, even gently, even playfully, people get uncomfortable. Not because you're wrong, but because you're right. And being right about things people don't want to examine makes you dangerous. So they distance themselves. Not consciously, perhaps, not maliciously, but they do. They stop inviting you to things. They keep conversations shallow around you. They call you intense or overthinking or too serious. And you learn to keep your thoughts to yourself. You learn to dumb it down, to speak in half-truths, to laugh at jokes you don't find funny, to nod along with opinions you don't share. You learn to hide, because full honesty, you've discovered, is social suicide. Authentic expression is loneliness in motion. Being truly yourself means being
just a reminder that if you feel like you're alone, it's not that you are alone. You just feel you're alone because you can see things that other people can't see. And so as we go into Thanksgiving, I just want you to be, I'm going to give you some more perspective. And this is a funny perspective. So I'm going to give you some funny perspective. And I had to bleep out a bunch of words. This is what I think of, by the way, when I think of somebody telling me, "Oh yeah, no, it's okay," and then they do this. Let's go ahead and play it.
Damn, bro, you all right? Watch where the f you walking. So you getting searched? What the f you want to do then? What you want to do? All right, let's go. Let's throw this shit up. Let's get it. Come on. You want to fight? Come on. Nigga, I shoot, bro. What? I shoot, bro. That's what the f I do. Nigga, what the f I look like fighting? Bro, you look like you fight every day, bro. What the f you doing, nigga? You big as hell. Nah, f that, man. I'd rather shoot. What up? Bro, what's up? You sending the wrong message, though. You outside with your shirt off, big as hell, like you just came from a workout. Look like you ready to eat the gun. What's wrong with you? Bro, nah, man. Forget that, man. What's up? I'd rather shoot you. What's up? Bro, stop, bro. You look stupid, bro. You should be ashamed of yourself, bro. I'm like a bean 30. Bro, you could beat me the f up. Matter of fact, I want you to shoot me. Bro, you should be ashamed of yourself, bro. Look at you, bro. Just give me the gun, bro. Bro, you look stupid, bro. Seriously, bro. I got you, bro. I'm not gonna let you just throw your life away. You can fight another day. But right now, you can rob. Big ass motherfucker. Doing 10,000 sit-ups, 100 burpees a minute for what? You ain't gonna miss this 4 or 5. Big ass motherfucker.
Okay. So the moral of the story is don't let evil be the arbiter. Here's what you get out of that. You have the one guy on one side who just acting hard, but he's really soft. He's seen it. He started, he got into his head. He got into his head and he made him feel a certain way. And they manipulated him and they took something away from him and then he used it against him to kill him. It actually is an analogy of life. People want to make you feel bad. They want to make you feel guilty. They want to make you feel like you're less than what you are. And this is across the board. This is like they learn it. It works once, they do it again and again and again. And all you have to do is be like, yeah, it's not working. You're not. I mean, this one guy today said, "I'm living rent free in your head," and I'm thinking to myself, I didn't even think about you. People who think that they can talk at you, they've never met you before in their life, those aren't the people that give you who you are. They don't validate who you are. So as you go through this holiday, when you get when you are with your family, I want you to just be grateful. I want you to be grateful for just a ridiculous number of blessings that you have in your life. And we are going to war, baby. We are going to war in this country. We're going to war. President Trump is going to pull a lever. And the people of Venezuela, man, they better cough up all the information. You know that they're doing it. They're putting it aside right now saying, no. Everybody better save me. And we got all this military down there, and it's getting ready to get hot. It's getting ready to get real hot. All right, I'm going to pray us out. I want you guys to know I love you. I'm grateful for you. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for this country, this beautiful country that gave me so much opportunity. So much opportunity. It's been amazing. Yet I can't unsee what I see. And I feel like, man, how does a poor kid not forget where he came from and then see so much? How do you see so much? I just can't stop seeing it. Like I'd see it and I'm like, oh man. And somebody will say something to me, or someone will walk in and they simp on some sort of idea. And I'm like, bro, you don't even know what you're talking about. And I just have to tolerate stupid so often. Or they'll look at me and they'll shake their head. I'm thinking, I'm looking right at him and I see the micro expression. I'm like, yep, he's not going to do what I asked him to do. And then he doesn't, then I got to fire him. So I just want you to know that I am appreciative of the work that you're doing and have done. And you just going to have to be patient. There's a lot going on. And hit the share button. And recognize that they're going to try and hide your shares and that these people are kind of really bad. So, yeah, right now, I believe. All right, let's go and pray it out. Father God, thank you for everything. Thank you for the time that we have together. Thank you for the podcast. Thank you for this beautiful day we have coming tomorrow, the feast that we will have, and the gratitude that we will have for this great nation and its humble beginnings. We're grateful, Father, for our families and for our friends. We're grateful for our communities, and we're grateful for President Trump stepping into the place that he stepped into. We are grateful for the trials that we have. Father, I just ask that you put this shield in the hearts of the men that are good. That you protect them from the evil. You give them the ability to fight against it, to speak up against it. I just beg of you, Father, to do more of what you did to Sean Beadle, to more people who are living in a painful environment where they're at constant conflict. I would ask you, Father, that you would just pull back that sheet so they can see it all, so that they can become the people that can see clearly what's in front of them. I mean, Sean Beadle, it took a lot for him to do that, to get to that place. So I also ask you to be with Sean's family as they process the truth and where they are and what that means. That they can do so without looking through the rearview mirror, and they can embrace you, Father. I just prayed for my enemy. Can't believe I did that. Look at that. I'll ask you to bless Dave Bear. Bless him with healing. Give him the strength to be able to fight through this cancer. You have Charlie Kirk, Father. We want to keep Dave. Just ask that you give him healing. Ask, Father, to please bless the people inside of President Trump's cabinet. That all the bad people can be revealed and they can be removed. And I do pray, Father, that somewhere along the line, people in the community and in our country can get to a place where we can embrace truth. So I ask you, Father, for that it can be easily seen, easily followed. We're in a tough place. But we know with you, Father, everything is possible. So I just ask you to be with us and to give us the ability to feel gratitude every day, all day. I say these things humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow. Go hang out with your families. We ended a little early. And yeah, good to see you, Susan Rice. See, I don't like the bad Susan Rice so much that I really, really love the Susan Rice that is the good Rice. The good Susan Rice. Go ahead and hit the little up button on Rumble, if you would. See a bunch of you there. Just go do it real quick. If you're on X, I just ask that you share it. Those of you that are on X. And if you're on Brighteon, I want to thank you for growing that environment. For Pilled, I want to say thank you for your environment. And Facebook, for those that get to watch it on Facebook and Instagram, we're going to be going on to Instagram. We've got a couple other channels we're going to be on. We'll have a channel up on Roku. We're going to try and work on that over the holiday season. So we got a lot of stuff going on, but stay tuned. Make sure that you're the ambassador of truth and that you're standing up for people in your community and in your country. So God bless you. I'll talk to you soon.
Rise up untamed in the heart of the fire where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Tame nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave